Well, we're going to go ahead and take things over here for a couple minutes. We don't have a tornado warning just yet, but we have received word that one is coming down on this storm here in Beauregard Parish, kind of watching an area of rotation there within that existing severe thunderstorm warning. And this storm is moving off to the northeast. I'm going to grab a couple details on that storm, so bear with me for one moment. This is moving pretty slowly. There's that tornado warning. That goes until... Step off the screen here and pull those details for you. That new tornado warning is going until 6:30 this evening. So if you're in Beauregard Parish, now's the time to be in that tornado safe place, especially if you're near Tulla or Singer. This storm is moving off to the northeast at about 15 miles per hour. I'm going to take a look here, see where we can get the best view on that tornado warned storm. It looks like the Fort Johnson radar is probably going to be our best bet. So again, this is moving off to the north, kind of northeast at about 15 miles per hour. So if you're near the Mark Tree Baptist Church, this storm will be moving your way in about 15 minutes or so, 26 minutes for this to hold together as it moves towards Tulla, and about 32 minutes before that tornado warned storm would move toward the Church of God there in north central Beauregard Parish. So again, for those just joining us, we do have an active tornado warning now for portions of Beauregard Parish. I will say one thing I've noticed in these storms that have had tornado warnings on them today, even beyond central Louisiana, thankfully haven't maintained that rotation for very long. Already seeing some pretty noticeable changes between the last radar scan, which looked a little more concerning, and this one. So we'll give this a couple minutes, wait on a new scan of data to come in, and if that area doesn't look as impressive, we'll go ahead and go back to our 6 o'clock newscast. So we're going to stay with you with this for at least a minute here while we wait to see what the next radar scan shows as far as that area of rotation. Maryville, you're not included in the warning at this time. Again, this is mainly rural areas in Beauregard Parish. I'm going to see if we can't get some local road names in here. Sometimes our system does struggle with that in more rural areas, and it looks like I'm not going to be able to pull much here. But that area of rotation right now is just to the west of US 171. Just to the south of Tulla. And again, if you're in Tulla, that storm is moving your way. I'm going to check here, see if we have any new updates from the National Weather Service office. And right now, I don't see any new updates, but again, going to be keeping a close eye on that. So again, I can't get local road names where you can see them here on the screen behind me, but I am going to look here through another program I have on my phone to hopefully get you some of those road names near that area of rotation. So again, if you're in Tulla, you want to go ahead and be in that tornado safe place. The nearest road would be Bucket Road in Beauregard Parish, if you're familiar with that area. Sometimes it takes a minute to get more of these roads to move up. Again, the community of Tulla, you need to be in that safe place now. That would include Michelle Road. That would include Milton Schmidt Road as well, and Virgil Schmidt Road. So again, community of Tulla need to be in your tornado safe place, as well as Carson, kind of here just to the east of Louisiana 27. That's where that tornado warning is now. So again, for those of you just joining us, I'm going to put those details for you back on the screen here for just a moment. Tornado warning in place for Beauregard Parish through 6:30 this evening. That's why we're on here with you now. The storm is moving pretty slowly, but if you're in that warning area, now is the time to go ahead and move to that tornado safe place. It's been a couple minutes since I got a track on the storm. Looks like we have some new data in, and there's still at least very concentrated, but some tight rotation there. So we're going to stay with you on this for a couple minutes. I'm also monitoring things here from the National Weather Service. Let me zoom that out for you a little bit more so you can get that full track in there. But once again, this is a tornado warning now, which is why we're sticking with weather here at least for a couple minutes. DeRitter, you are not in the warning at this point. It should stay just to your east, but with that said, we're going to be monitoring things very closely. Now, current track puts it near Mark Tree Baptist Church in about 14 minutes, Tulla in about 25 minutes, Church of God in Beauregard Parish in about 31 minutes, and Pleasant Home Church in about 41 minutes. So most of these are landmarks. Again, pretty rural area there in Beauregard Parish. Try to back that up there. There's DeRitter right there just to the north of that tornado warning. I'm actually going to zoom this in. See if there's any part of town there actually within that warning. So downtown DeRitter, you're not exactly under that warning, but kind of near the Shear community, near the Bon Amy community, you are included in that warning just to or along Louisiana Highway 27. So again, downtown DeRitter not included in this at this point. We're going to be watching that pretty closely. Let's go back out The rotation looks like the initial area of rotation might not be holding up as well anymore. But at the same time, looks like this new area of rotation may be one to watch a little bit closer with this storm. Meteorologist Ian Beck is here with me. Ian, what are your thoughts as that one area of rotation has kind of fizzled out and looks like we might have a new one to keep tabs on?
Yeah, Jake, it seems like it has fizzled out more past the rotation along to the new rotation that we're going to see on more of the eastern side of that warning box, pretty much paralleling Louisiana Highway 171 at this time. You kind of see it off in the distance here. There's a little line of storms that continue to work its way very slowly, not a very fast moving area of rotation by any means. It's been kind of sat in central Beauregard Parish over the last couple of really the last 45 minutes. It's kind of been sat down there. So it's going to continue to work its way in across that area, pretty much along Louisiana Highway 171. We'll see if they issue maybe a new warning, kind of take over this the previous warning, very similar to what they did with that warning boxes they had out in Texas earlier today when they had those in portions of Vernon and Beauregard Parish. This new area rotation likely will take over the previous warning box. That's going to continue to work its way in across areas I mentioned for pretty much along Louisiana Highway 171. And it'll be moving a little bit more towards Louisiana Highway 394 there in portions of Beauregard Parish. Not a lot of communities out this way, which is a good thing, more of a rural area across the board. But if you are in Tola, you still want to make sure you're in your tornado warning spot. And eventually this will work its way in up towards Louisiana Highway 147, Louisiana Highway 26 as well. And eventually it will work its way, if it continues to hold together, into portions of southern Vernon Parish near cities like Cole Central, and a little bit more big picture there, and then down areas like Cole Central. And it will stay south of the city of DeRidder as well, and eventually will work its way in across areas, maybe portions of Allen Parish. But overall, though, it looks like that new area rotation has definitely taken over, and it looks pretty strong as well on the broader side, but definitely some strong areas of vorticity in that, which is usually not the greatest sign to see, but it's something we will be watching very closely. But no confirmed tornado on this, just a very strong area of rotation that will eventually work its way in to Louisiana Highway 394 and Louisiana Highway 26 in Beauregard Parish. But Jake, I'm going to toss it back to you there, and I'll give you an update with any new information.
Thank you, Ian. So for those of you just joining us, we are with you right now because of an active tornado warning in Beauregard Parish. This warning goes until 6:30 this evening. Now, kind of clearing everything off the map for you here. Maryville not included in this warning. Downtown DeRidder also not included in this warning. But if you're located south of DeRidder in between Louisiana Highway 27 and basically U.S. Highway 171 / that Louisiana 394 line, now's the time to go ahead and be in that tornado safe place. I did just ask a moment ago what the plans are for this warning. That area of rotation getting pretty close to the edge of this warning box. So we'll either see this warning be allowed to expire here in a moment or potentially be extended. The winds with this are strong. The rotation, though, is not quite as tight and defined, but certainly something could spin up pretty quickly, especially with those stronger winds. Looks like this warning is going to be held on for a little while longer, reading this from the National Weather Service. But again, kind of getting close there, so we'll have to wait and see if we have an extension on that. I do want to take things out real quick. There's where that area of rotation is. There's Tola there on the left side of your screen and US 171. Go out. If we were to see an additional warning in central Louisiana, kind of giving you the first alert, not a warning here, but definitely stay weather aware. I'm going to step off the screen for a moment and start to zoom the map in a little easier for you so that if we were to see a downstream warning, it could potentially impact areas east of DeRidder, including Cole Central, maybe the Grant area, not Grant Parish, but Grant, Louisiana, over in Allen Parish, kind of near the Reeds area as well. Don't want to speculate too much. Again, we're not the ones that issue warnings and whatnot. But again, if you're in one of those towns I just mentioned, definitely giving you the first alert to stay weather aware as this storm gets pretty close to the edge of its warning box. But the tornado warning does continue. I'm going to go ahead and get a new track on this storm for you. It's moving off to the northeast, I believe, at about 15 miles an hour. Let me just make sure that that's correct. I'm going to redraw that track a little bit, actually. And this latest scan does look a little bit better, which is great news. But again, the threat is still there. So we're going to be here with you for at least a couple minutes. There's a look at that latest track that would put it near Hopewell Baptist Church in about 9 minutes. That there is right on the edge of that warning box. 20 minutes if it were to hold together by the time it gets to Spring Creek Baptist Church. Here's what I mean, and I'm going to have to step off to actually rewind the radar just a little bit for you. But here's what I mean when I say the radar scan's looking a little bit better, and I say that in a positive way. Going back a couple scans, you'll notice those colors are a little bit brighter and a little more closer together. Tighter circulation can sometimes lead to a tornado spinning up, potentially reaching the ground, and also go back to that scan here for just a second. So again, that previous scan showed some stronger winds and some tighter rotation. This latest scan shows weaker winds and slightly broader rotation, but again, the concern is still there. If you're near Tulla, you will want to stay in that tornado safe place. So that warning box has now been updated. Now it's really Tulla and communities east of Tulla along US 71 and Louisiana Highway 394. If you're kind of within that area, now's the time to continue to be in that safe place if you're already there. And then as this approaches Louisiana Highway 394 right there, we'll have to wait and see if that rotation is strong enough to warrant a downstream extension of that tornado warning, or basically a warning a little further to the northeast in the path of that storm. We'll have details on that here in just a moment. So far, the current tornado warning goes till 6:30. But with that said, we are getting pretty close to the storm itself with the rotations getting pretty close to the edge of that warning. It does look like maybe we got a severe thunderstorm warning that was just issued, or I don't know if that was there before and it just caught my eye. Let me move things here. I'll step off and see about that severe thunderstorm warning. Looks like that goes through 6:45. And that warning was already there. So that was the pre-existing warning. There have been a lot of warnings issued today so far, at least severe thunderstorm warnings. While we wait on another scan and another update, I'll actually take things back for you, kind of show you the bigger picture of what we're looking at around central Louisiana. So most of what we're dealing with are severe thunderstorm warnings indicated by the yellow boxes. We've got some flash flood warnings, especially in our western areas so far, the areas that have received the most rain. So again, initially, as these storms first enter your area, we're looking at more of a severe weather threat. Then after that, that threat will transition to more of a flash flooding threat. So there are, like I said, additional severe thunderstorm warnings in place for portions of the area. Let me go ahead and get the details on this warning. So again, that Grant, Natchitoches, Sabine, wind parish tornado or severe thunderstorm warning goes through 6:30. 60-mile-an-hour winds really going to be the main thing to watch with this storm. There was some rotation with it earlier, but with that said, that rotation hasn't looked super impressive in a couple minutes. Where we have had rotation that's been on the stronger side, and why we're with you right now is because of that active tornado, or the only area that's had tighter rotation is where we have the active tornado warning right now in Beauregard Parish. I'm going to switch that back to velocity so we can get another look at that area of rotation. Again, kind of getting pretty close to the edge of that warning box. We'll have to see here within the next couple of minutes if we're going to see an additional tornado warning or if it's allowed to expire, and we can go back to our 6 o'clock newscast momentarily. So again, this area of rotation getting pretty close to the edge of its warning box. That area of concern now is east of Tulla. I'm going to zoom it back out for you. We'll get another track on this storm. It's moving pretty slowly. It's moving off to the northeast at about 15 miles per hour, or the kind of the northeast at about 15 miles per hour. I'm going to draw that out real quick. I'm going to have to adjust this, so bear with me for one moment. Put a pause on that. I'm just going to step off here so we can get that track on there quicker. I will say the last couple of radar scans, the rotation does appear to be broadening out a little bit more. So hopefully we can see that warning dropped here shortly. But again, in the path of that rotation, there's a look at some of the points of interest within the path. Shady Grove Church, it will be arriving in your area in about 14 minutes. Spring Creek Baptist Church in about 20 minutes, give or take, and Cole Central in about 41 minutes. Ian, what are you seeing so far with this storm? Do you agree that this rotation does kind of look like it's gradually trying to broaden out and weaken a little bit?
Yes, Jake, it definitely has burned the bra now a little bit compared to what it was just a couple of minutes ago. And to answer what you had earlier was we got issued that new thunderstorm warnings, and they've been trimming the boxes shorter and shorter based on some areas that are no longer in that severe category, which is why our tornado warning box is a lot smaller than it was when it first initially got issued, so because a very small portion of Beauregard Parish. But big picture wise, you still see a lot of heavy rain now moving to central Louisiana, which is one of the bigger concerns going to those overnight hours today. There's a potential of flash flooding. Almost all of our northern parishes underneath a flash flood warning are now really for the next 3 hours, and we'll continue probably see additional ones on top of that. And kind of what we've been dealing with all day today is continuing to see the potential of widespread rain. This is a look right now from our first alert weather camera out in DeRidder, just north of that tornado warned storm. You can't see a whole lot down in downtown DeRidder just because of how heavy that rain is across the board. And that's really going to be the case for a good portion of central Louisiana. So even if you aren't underneath a tornado warning or even a severe thunderstorm warning, the heavy rain will be one of the bigger issues we're going to see tonight across the region, just because we're going to see a lot of flash flooding. We've already picked up a good amount of rain the last couple of weeks. So any additional rain we get today on top of what we've already picked up will cause some flash flooding, especially across some of these low-lying areas near creeks or small rivers. So if you're going to be out traveling today, I really advise to go against that. But if you have to go out and about, make sure you stay off of flood roadways. You always want to turn around, don't drown, never want to take any chances across much of central Louisiana. So going through, once again, on our first alert radar, I mentioned we had a tornado warning there in the very corner of Beauregard Parish, a very rural area at this time, not a lot of communities out that way. But I'll continue that storm is very slow moving, so eventually work its way into areas of the corner portion of Vernon Parish, and eventually that will eventually make it to areas of Rapides Parish. Likely not as a tornado warning system at that point, it mostly just be a very heavy rain system. So we deal with a lot of flash flooding issues from that same storm. But at least right now, the good news is that tornado warning area is really starting to broaden out, which is good news for the potential of a tornado. But overall, though, heavy rain will be one of our bigger issues for the rest of this evening and overnight hours. So make sure you heed any warnings and make sure you stay off of flooded roadways. But Jake, I'm going to send it back over to you in the green screen.
Thank you, Ian. So new update from the National Weather Service. I still want you in your safe place if you're within this tornado warning, but they're going to give it another radar scan and see what it tries to do. If it tries to continue broadening out, they're going to let that warning go, and we'll send you back to our 6 o'clock newscast in a couple minutes. With that said, though, I mean, things continue changing with each scan, and it looks to me like at least a little portion of that area is trying to tighten back up. So again, gonna have to see how that evolves as we go through the next radar scan or two. This is getting pretty close to the edge of that tornado warning polygon, though, so we'll either see that warning extended or be allowed to drop very shortly. I do want to go ahead and reset the view for all of central Louisiana real quick. Let's see if I can get that to take. We're going to go ahead and just take a wider view of what we're dealing with across the board today. So we have a couple severe thunderstorm warnings out there, flash flood warnings. Really, all of our northern parishes at this point are under a flash flood warning. Looks like that tornado warning is going to be allowed to go. So here in just a moment, we'll send you on a brief break and then go back to our newscast. But real quick, just to sum things up for you, the severe threat not over just yet. These storms here, especially across the state line, are being monitored. They're not severe just yet, but they are on the stronger side. So expect at the minimum some heavy rain, frequent lightning, as well as some gusty winds below severe limits. Again, here's a look at the current radar picture. We're not done with severe weather just yet, but we're going to go ahead and send you to a quick break. Tornado warning for Beauregard Parish now canceled. We'll continue to provide you updates if another warning is issued. Tornado warning goes through 9:15 this evening, and the area of rotation now is just to the northeast of Oakdale. I'm going to go ahead and put a pause on things real quick, and we'll switch things over to velocity so we can see what direction the winds are going and the wind speed with these storms as well. That'll help us to identify that area of rotation on the map. So let me go ahead and put a pause on that as well. Again, generally this area right here where you see those red and green colors coming together, that's that area of rotation that we're watching as it continues moving off to the northeast. Now, with that said, this does include portions of Rapides Parish, but this stays just south of Glenmora. This stays south of Woodworth. This stays well to the south of Alexandria Pineville. But if you're in the Oakdale area out towards Elizabeth, now it's going to be the time to go ahead and move to that tornado safe place. I'm going to step off here for just one moment to evaluate something off screen here. So this is moving to the northeast at about 40 miles an hour. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a quick track on that as well. This is going to put some towns that are in the path of that within the next hour, but are not included in the warning. Hopefully this falls apart well before that hour. But again, this is moving pretty close to Cypress Creek within the next minute. The Pine Prairie area in about 12 minutes or so, give or take. 28 minutes for it to reach the town of St. Landry. And then if this were to hold together, it would move closer to Bunkie in about 36 minutes. I'm going to actually zoom in here and see if we can't get some more local road names kind of near that area of rotation that we're watching. Again, this is going to be near Oakdale, kind of to the east of Oakdale, near the community of Beaver. There's Louisiana Highway 10 right there, Louisiana Highway 106 running through Beaver. And again, this does look like it's starting to broaden out a little bit, which would be great news. But with that said, the threat for tornadoes is still there. That's why that warning is in place, at least for a couple of minutes. Going to take a look at things, go back a little bit. And the rotation was definitely a little tighter a couple moments ago when we saw that tornado warning issued. The rotation is slowly starting to broaden out, which would be great news. But again, we've seen this with storms today, as a matter of fact. Some of them have been able to cycle back up and that rotation tighten. So once again, the threat for a tornado not completely over yet. That's why I want you in your safe place. Oakdale, you're probably okay, but I want you to stay in that safe place for a couple more minutes. Pine Prairie, kind of the Elizabeth area and areas to the northeast there, northern Evangeline Parish, I want you to still be in that tornado safe place. Ville Platte, you're not included in this tornado warning at this time. The severe thunderstorm warning actually stays just to your west for now. Let me switch things back over to first alert radar for just a moment. Also zoom things out here so you can get a better view. So why we're with you on programming right now is because of this active tornado warning. Really that tornado warning and that severe thunderstorm warning kind of on that same segment of this storm. Really the only severe storms we have left in central Louisiana. The rest of us are dealing with a flooding threat, and that is going to continue at least for several more hours. As far as that severe thunderstorm warning goes, still goes till 9:15. Winds to 60 miles an hour are going to be the main threat. And it also had that tornado possible tag as they were watching the area of rotation that wasn't super strong. And now it has been strong enough to prompt a tornado warning. So again, the reason we are on the air with you right now is because of this active tornado warning. Actually going to move out of the way here so you can see the full picture here. This tornado warning in effect for portions of Allen, Evangeline, and Rapides Parish until 9:15. So give me 1 second. I'm just checking here for some updates. It does look like we'll have some new flash flood warnings coming out here momentarily. For portions of our area, that coming from the National Weather Service, the eastern half of Rapides Parish and all of Avoyelles Parish, over 2 inches of rain have fallen in this area so far. So we'll go and switch things over to our Doppler radar estimates, which will give us a good idea of how much rain has fallen across all of central Louisiana while we wait on a little update there on the tornado warning. Go back to our entire viewing area and take a look at some of those totals, because again, while we do have the tornado warning, and that is the primary concern at this point, the more widespread concern of what we're dealing with across a lot of the area right now is flash flooding. About a half to maybe even 2/3 of central Louisiana at this point is under a flash flood warning. And look at some of these estimated rainfall totals out in Beauregard Parish. Radar estimating about 8 to 9 inches of rain out there. Southern Rapides Parish, Doppler radar estimating roughly 5 inches of rain. We could see the same out towards Catahoula Parish, Concordia Parish, Southern LaSalle Parish as well. So some pretty hefty rainfall totals for most of the area. I know so far in Alexandria we haven't seen a ton of rain just yet, but again, rain's still falling and those rainfall totals are adding up for most of the area. Even in Alexandria, we've seen on the lower end of rainfall today, we're picking up about 2 inches of rain estimated by radar, and out towards Marksville between 3 and 4 inches. It might be a little aggressive there, but again, we've seen a lot of rain so far today. That's going to be the main threat. For now, we still have at least that southern segment of this line that does have some severe weather with it. We've got that severe thunderstorm warning and the tornado warning, which I do want to go back to here real quick. So again, if you're just now joining us on television, the reason that we are cutting into your programming is because we have this tornado warning in place for portions of Allen, Evangeline, Rapides Parish. Rapides Parish, this doesn't include Alexandria, Pineville. This doesn't include Glenmora, Woodworth. It stays just to the south. So really areas south of Glenmora, pretty close to the Allen, Rapides Parish and Rapides, Evangeline Parish line, those are the areas that need to be in shelter. Otherwise, Pine Prairie, Oakdale, now is the time to be in that safe place if you are not there already. We'll switch things back over to velocity real quick, which, like I mentioned before, shows us the speed and the direction of the winds. It's where we can identify that area of rotation within the storm. And as I kind of mentioned before, the rotation was kind of starting to broaden out, but we've seen storms so far today try to spin back up, and it does seem like, at least to some degree, we're seeing the storm potentially try to do that. I'm going to circle the area that I'm watching the closest right now, just across the Evangeline Parish line, just west of Pine Prairie. So not the strongest rotation we've seen all day, but certainly rotation that's going to have to be watched. This storm, again, is kind of moving off to the north and northeast. I do want to step off. I think that's probably that flash flood warning coming through, but I do want to double check and make sure. Yes, that is the new flash flood warning that I just saw out of the corner of my eye on the screen. I'm going to try to zoom in here and see if we can get some more local road names. It looks like that is not going to work with me here, but if you're in Cypress Creek or in Beaver, now is the time to be in that tornado safe place, as you are in the path of that area of rotation. This storm's moving to the northeast at about 40 miles per hour, so I do want to get another track on that. I'm going to zoom things out here real quick and go ahead and get a track on that storm. So again, the area of concern is kind of near the community of Beaver right now, to the southeast of Oakdale. And here's some of those estimated times of arrival for you. The most dangerous part of the storm will be near Pine Prairie in roughly 10 minutes, St. Landry in about 20 to 25 minutes. And if this were to hold together, be moving a little closer to Bunkie in about 30 to 35 minutes. Now, I cannot pull up the local road names that this area of rotation's near, just a system limitation with where it is, but I am going to see if I can't get some more names here through another program on my phone. So this is going to be pretty close to Louisiana Highway 10 near the community of Beaver. This is near Beaver Road, Lehman Road, Liz's Lane, near Burned Down Road, and Beaver Creek Cemetery Road, as well as Oakdale Highway. Again, this is where that area of rotation is. It is in northwestern Evangeline Parish near the community of Beaver. So if you're in Beaver or northeast of Beaver especially, now is the time to be in that tornado safe place, as we're watching an area of rotation that was a little bit stronger earlier, tried to broaden back out, but now it does show at least some signs of trying to spin back up once again. That's why we're still with you. And I'll also pull up those tornado warning details for you if you're just now joining us. We're interrupting your programming. We're on streaming as well because of this active tornado warning for portions of Allen, Evangeline, and Rapides Parish through 9:15 this evening. Again, here's Rapides Parish. Glenmora, you're not included in the warning. Woodworth, you're not included in the warning. Alexandria, Bilbao, we're dealing with a couple showers out there, but you are not included in this warning either. Oakdale, you're still in this warning. I want you in your safe place for a few more minutes, but the most dangerous part of the storm is now just off to your northeast. Again, that area of concern is now near the community of Beaver and will continue to move off toward the Pine Prairie and Turkey Creek area over the next couple of minutes. Go ahead and get another track on this storm once again, now that we have some new data in. And again, this storm moving off to the northeast at about 40 miles per hour. So there's where that area of greatest concern is. And there are going to be some locations that show up on the map. I'm hopeful that this storm will not hold that entire time. So right now I really want to focus on areas within the warning itself. That includes Turkey Creek. That storm's heading your way in about 10 to 15 minutes. So don't wait 10 to 15 minutes to get in that safe place. Now is the time to go ahead and get there. Again, that's going to be your most interior room away from windows. You want as many walls between you and the outdoors as possible. If your kiddos ride a bike helmets are great. Make sure everybody's wearing closed-toed shoes as well. This storm is going to continue progressing off to the northeast. It will be near the town of St. Landry, which is right about here in about 20 to 25 minutes. So again, now's the time to go ahead and be in that tornado safe place. I'm going to take a look here, see if we have any updates from the National Weather Service, and also see if we have any questions here. I'm going to glance at our Facebook comments for just a moment. So again, Pineville, Alexandria Ball, you're not included in this warning. Only extreme southern portions of Rapides Parish are under this warning. But more populated areas in northern Allen and northern Evangeline Parish are in the path of this storm. And again, Let me adjust that slightly. There are the estimated times of arrival if you are in the path of this area of rotation. Something to look over here while I take a look at these questions. Okay, so I'm not seeing many questions here. We'll also take a look at updates from the National Weather Service, see if there's anything new. Beyond the flash flood warning, not seeing anything different at this time. But again, the area of greatest concern now where that area of rotation is, and I wish I could pull this up on the map a little more detail for you with those local roads, but that rotation now is near Beaver Road, near the community of Beaver, near Oakdale Highway, also near Burn Down Road, and this is in the town of Beaver right now, and that is continuing to move off to the northeast at about 40 miles per hour. So again, that area that I keep talking about where we're seeing rotation within the storm, we've got winds here. Looks like I picked my wrong tool there. We have winds here going toward the Fort Johnson radar, wrapping into the storm. Try to draw that little arrow there. And then here we have winds going away from the Fort Johnson radar. So where we're seeing those clash, that's the area of concern right now. And again, that's southeast of Oakdale. That's near the community of Beaver in Evangeline Parish, northern Evangeline Parish. And this storm is going to continue moving off to the northeast. Let's go ahead while we wait on some more data. I'm going to reset the map view here so we can take a look at what's going on in all of central Louisiana. So get first alert radar back on the screen. For most of us, our severe threat is on the lower end for the night. Really, it's that one southern segment of this line that's affecting mainly Allen and Evangeline Parish at this point, where we have the severe thunderstorm warning and the tornado warning, which is why we are on the air with you right now. For the rest of the area, most of us are dealing with rain. Manny, Natchitoches, y'all are finally quieting things down. I think most of us, or at least our northern areas and maybe central areas, will get a break from the rain tomorrow. Might be able to cancel that first alert weather day a little bit earlier, depending on how morning commute conditions are looking. But again, still dealing with that widespread rain right now, basically from a line extending from Leesville through Alexandria to Gina and areas to the southeast. Manny, Natchitoches, you're done with the flooding threats pretty much. And the severe threat as well over that northwestern corner. So the National Weather Service latest update from them is that the northern portion of the tornado warned storm continues to broadly rotate. Again, not the tightest rotation we've seen so far this evening, but enough cause for concern that there is the tornado warning in place. They are going to kind of let this go for a couple more minutes. The warning expires at 9:15, and they will evaluate whether or not there needs to be an additional warning or that tornado warning can be allowed to expire. I'm going to step off for one moment while we wait on some new radar data to come in, and I'm actually going to take radar off the screen for you here just to kind of illustrate the flash flooding picture for you right now. So we have that red box, that's the tornado warning. The yellow box is the severe thunderstorm warning. All of these green boxes within central Louisiana are flash flood warnings. And earlier this evening, we had flash flood warnings back in Sabine and Natchitoches Parish as well. Most of our area has been under a flash flood warning today because of all of the rain that we have received so far. We've had some severe weather, but the flooding has been the bigger and widespread threat. That's one of the first reasons why we went ahead and declared that first alert weather day. And then also, like I said before, we've been dealing with that severe weather threat as well. Here's another look at just how much rain we have picked up in the last 24 hours. And just looking at these colors, it may not mean much to you, but putting that into perspective for you, southern Catahoula Parish, radar estimating between 4 and 5 inches of rain there. Central Concordia Parish saying much of the same. As you get down towards northern Beauregard Parish, northwestern Allen, southeastern Vernon, look at these radar estimates, almost 7 inches of rain out in that area. Northwestern Allen Parish, about 7 inches of rain estimated by radar. Then even out towards Natchitoches Parish, just south of Natchitoches, radar estimated between 5 and 6 inches of rainfall. Some of the lower totals that we've seen today, once again, were in Alexandria, but even on the lower side, look at that. Radar still estimating between 2 and 3 inches of rainfall. That rain going to continue to be an issue, at least for our central and southern parishes as we go through the next couple of hours. As you can see on the radar, those reds and oranges indicate moderate to heavy precipitation, not necessarily severe weather in this case. And that heavy rain is going to stick around for at least a little while longer as we head further into the overnight hours. We should have some new data in at this point, so I want to go back into that tornado warned storm. And again, that's why we're with you on TV right now and on our streaming platforms, is because of this tornado warning. Again, that goes for a couple minutes, kind of waiting to see, hoping that this doesn't spin back up. And if it doesn't spin back up, we'll see this warning expire here in a little while. But I will say, I do like what I'm seeing here, not seeing rotation as concentrated as it was earlier. And I'll go back and kind of show you that, the general trend here in just a moment. This is kind of the loose area that we're watching at this point. It's going to be just to the southeast of Oakdale. But again, that storm is rotating very broadly, which is a good thing because for a tornado to be really imminent, we need tight rotation, we need strong rotation. And while there is some broad rotation there and it's going to have to be watched closely, the good news is not seeing strong and tight rotation. So I'm hopeful that we'll see this here expire in a couple minutes. And with it expiring in about 3 minutes, we'll go ahead and stick with you until that decision is made, since it's not too far away. It looks like we're getting some updates here on our flash flood warnings from the National Weather Service, Beauregard and Vernon Parish, especially the western half of Vernon Parish and the northwestern corner of Beauregard. That flash flood warning has been extended. Before we move on to that, let me go ahead and get a new track on this area. I have a feeling I'll have to zoom this out. We'll see what we can get here. I'm going to step off and readjust this. So that storm still moving off to the northeast at about 40 miles per hour. I'm going to draw that just a little bit outside of the warning area also. That would put the area we're watching the closest near Pine Prairie in about 5 minutes, the community of St. Landry in about 22 minutes, Barbreck in about 25 minutes, and eventually, if this were to hold together, get close to Lincoln School and Bodock in about 46 minutes. But again, the rotation with the storm kind of falling apart. I would still expect some gusty winds with this storm. And again, there is also a severe thunderstorm warning in effect, as you can see, basically extending from Oakdale to almost Ville Platte. And that severe thunderstorm warning may also expire at 9:15. Let's double check. That also expires at 9:15 this evening. So we're a couple minutes away from seeing if that tornado warning is going to be allowed to expire. Again, we've got some broad rotation. I want to give it a scan or two just to make sure that the tornado threat is completely done before we send you back to programming. But again, the big picture here around central Louisiana, you can tell by that red tornado warning box, as well as that yellow severe thunderstorm warning box. That one segment of the line really is the only portion that's severe at this point. The rest of it is more of a heavy rainfall threat. Switching things back over to first alert radar, again, you can see that heavy rain. Let's put a pause on this. Mainly concentrated at this point on our central and southern parishes, and then once again on our northeastern parishes as well. So the widespread rain will continue for the next couple of hours. If you can stay home tonight, stay home. It is going to be worth it to stay home. The rain's heavy out there. We've got ponding on roadways, I'm sure. And if you have storm reports, flood reports, storm photos, flood photos that you want to share with us, you can do that on our First Alert Weather app. I also posted a link to our Facebook page. We will relay those reports to the National Weather Service, and your photo or video may have a chance to be on our 10 o'clock newscast tonight. So if you have any photos or videos that you can take or share with us safely, I encourage you to do so. But again, if you're in this severe thunderstorm warning, don't put your life in danger to get out there and get some photos or videos for us. Again, only if you can do so safely, whether you're in that severe warned portion of the storm or beyond there where we have the localized flooding going on. I'm going to turn the radar off one more time. And again, should be getting word on that tornado warning within the next 90 seconds or so. The rotation at this point continues to get weaker, so we're not going to go back to programming just yet, but be ready. It won't take us too much longer. Here's a look at First Alert Radar. All these green boxes here can represent flash flood warnings, and that flash flooding threat is going to persist for a couple hours. So like I said, stay in if you can tonight. Once we start to dry out late overnight into early tomorrow, most should be okay when it comes to that morning commute. But again, you want to stay off those roadways, and if you encounter a flooded roadway, if you absolutely have to be out on the road, remember to turn around and don't drown. The tornado warning is going to be allowed to expire officially. That will be replaced, though, any moment by a new severe thunderstorm warning, and the tornado possible tag will remain. So the rotation's still there. It's broad, it's weak, and if it tries to spin back up, of course, we'll be back on the air with you if another tornado warning is issued. There's that new severe thunderstorm warning for portions of Evangeline, St. Landry and Avoyelles Parish. That goes until 9:45 this evening. So again, no more tornado warning. We'll send you back to your regular programming. And as long as we don't have another tornado warning, I'll be back tonight at 10 with another weather update.